Planning District Board meeting to order. Just ensure that the board members have their nameplates flipped around. We have board member Colleen Smook on the telephone. She's en route to Winnipeg. We've called it to order. We have the agenda before us. Are there any changes to the agenda, Mr. Septelli? No, seeing none, we need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Councillor Valentino, Councillor Foley, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Item 3, the adoption of minutes, Thompson Planning District meeting, March 13th to the 17th. This is resolution 2017-004, moved by board member Ellis, seconded by board member Clauda. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Thompson Planning District held in Council Chamber City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba on Monday, March 13th, 2017 be adopted as circulated. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Septelli.
Just for the record, board member Hassman and board member Mack have sent their regrets.
Okay, if that could be recorded in the minutes. Next, we have resolution, first reading of bylaw 44-2017, development plan amendments. We have the bylaw 44-2017. We have Schedule A, and we have a memo from the city manager. Resolution 2017-005, moved by board member Foley, seconded by board member Ellis. Be it resolved that bylaw 44-2017, being a bylaw of the Thompson Planning District Board to amend the Thompson Planning District Development Plan bylaw number 42-2012 to designate block B, plan number 4620, N Division Industrial, as part of the City of Thompson boundary adjustment be introduced and read a first time. We'll go to administration for support.
Sure. For the board's information, this amendment to the development plan is one of the conditions that's required in a transaction agreement that the city has entered into with Valet in regards to the water treatment plant, where the city will take ownership of the water treatment plant on January 1st of 2018. The water treatment plant was originally situated in the local government district of Mystery Lake. One of the processes that the city has undertaken with the province was a minor annexation to expand the boundaries of the city of Thompson to incorporate that parcel of land where the water treatment plant currently sits. That was done, and the municipal status and boundaries regulation amendment was registered on July 14th of 2017. Development Plan Amendment 44-2017, as indicated in the resolution, will designate this parcel as industrial to conform to the City of Thompson zoning bylaw. These amendments were reviewed, both this amendment to the Planning District and the amendment that's coming up in the regular meeting of Council, the zoning bylaw, at the Development Review Committee on November the 2nd, with the recommendation to bring these forth to the Planning District and City of Thompson respectively for first reading tonight.
Thank you. Board members, any questions or clarifications? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Colleen. Or board member Spook, Mr. Septelli.
Just sort of final comment. So right now is that the public hearing, which will appear in the Thompson Citizen, is set for December the 11th.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Beyer, Councillor Foley, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. We stand adjourned. Please switch your name tags back to council members. We'll call to order the regular meeting of council for the 14th of November at 7:05. We have the agenda before us. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There is not.
Seeing none. Oh, Councillor Matchuk.
I'd like to, I'm not sure the item, the last thing on the agenda, I'd like to see second and third reading split up, and a third reading be held at a later date and second be held tonight. That's on the bylaw.
Raise that issue when 8.2 comes up. We'll address it at that time. Thank you. Agenda as presented. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we'll go to general inquiries. Just before we go to general inquiries, there was a question the last meeting in regards to the number of local employees for the wastewater treatment plant. I have some information supplied to me by our city manager, which states that roughly there are 32 to 40 local employees on the job site with a number of contractors who are both local and off-site contractors. So it's 32 to 40 local employees. We will follow up with the total number of employees on the job site. But at this point, there are 32 to 40 local employees employed at the wastewater treatment plant. Mr. Sepatelli?
So those numbers will change, as obviously they are only for the contractors that are currently at that stage of construction. As different stages happen, obviously the intent is to those companies to hire locally as well.
Thank you. So with that, we'll move to general inquiries. Just a reminder that we have a 10-minute time limit for inquiries. So if there are more than a few questions, please be cognizant of others to provide everybody time to ask their questions. With that, I would open the floor to questions and ask you to come forward, state your name, and ask your question. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Welcome.
Council,
Welcome.
Martin Greer.
Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to, I have my water bill here, and I'd like to know how come I never get a reading? I never get a reading on my meter. It always says no reading. I get an assessment or...
Ask Mr. Sepatelli to address that in regards to the phrasing that's on the water bill, in addition to the electronic readings that are taken that produce the water bill. So, Mr. Sepatelli?
Yeah, so not being able to answer specifically, not knowing what your specific details are. If you were to give me your address, and I mean, obviously we can follow up and review your bill and respond back to you.
I live on 308 Riverside.
Thank you.
Okay.
And yeah, I've never had a reading yet, but...
But the bill will state no reading, but there are electronic readings done on a regular basis, which calculate your bill. So we will clarify the process on why it states that on the bill, but there are actual readings done electronically, and we can explain that situation for you.
So why don't we just, you send us this letter here that says how to read your own meter? Well, how come we just can't phone that in, or?
Hydro, you can choose to read your own meter and phone the city to give that reading at that time frame. No different than Manitoba Hydro. Manitoba Hydro does electronic readings as well, and so but we can clarify why it states actually on the bill no reading. Yeah, mine's the same, so we can clarify why that statement's there, but there are electronic readings taken.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next. Thank you. Ask your question.
Mr. Mayor, my question to you is, I add up the legal fees, which is the lawyer fees from Atkin or something like that, and it's over $23,000 for the month of October. Can you explain to me why so high?
Jenny, in regards to the legal fees for the month of October?
We solicit legal responses on a number of issues throughout the year. Obviously, depending upon what those issues were for that month, is the bill that would have been incurred for those services rendered.
And also, I'd like to know why we are not using our local legal firm instead of legal firm out of town. And remember what you said, we try to retain the money in town here so we can spend on the town here, because the local firm probably, they pay property tax, pay whatever, service.
In some instances, we do use local, but for the most part, the capacity for the legal requirements that we need as a municipality, for instance, in negotiations for unionized contracts, that capacity is with the firms that we have worked with in the past in Winnipeg.
Okay, second question. For the month of October, I can see we have spent over $11 million. And do this $11 million touch the reserve fund, of which is, you mentioned before, $9.47 million?
Well, this is, the expenditure is large, and I'll just have Jenny comment, but the expenditure is larger than normal for that month because of the payout to the school district of Mr. Lake in regards to the property tax that we collect on their behalf. So Jenny, if you could complete that.
Two largest items from October was the payment to the SDML for their portion of the levy that we've collected on the 2017 property taxes, as well as the portion the province gets on the ESL collected on the property taxes as well.
Thank you.
Just a friendly reminder. Remember
Sure.
the last time I handed you a piece of paper, request for the engineer report for the North Breakthrough. So I will get an answer pretty soon. Thank you very much.
Other questions? Please come forward, state your name, and ask your question.
Good evening, Les Ellsworth.
Welcome.
First of all, thank you for the information on the local employees working over on the wastewater treatment plant. I guess I'd like to get clarification, don't have to be tonight naturally. I'd like to know how many electricians is actually working on that site from Thompson, that lives in Thompson. So I'll leave that with you. I mentioned earlier, or I heard earlier, that the water treatment plant, the city has taken over on January the 1st, 2018. As most of you know, if not all, I've worked for Inco for years, and we've always enjoyed, I believe in this city, we brag about a very good water, and still good water. So my question is, are we going to be able to take over this facility and run it safely by January the 1st? Do we have people trained that's actually going to, when we flip it over, that's going to be able to look after that in a timely fashion?
We've hired employees to work at the wastewater, or the water treatment plant. Currently, they're shadowing the current valet employees. That will continue for this year, 2017. In 2018, we'll reverse, where our employees will be in the driver's seat per se, and the valet employees will shadow. And in the third year and beyond, valet will be our technical support as we run the the water treatment plant.
Okay, thank you for that. I got one last one. I noticed in the audience here earlier tonight, and maybe I'm reading it wrong, there's 2 community safety officers. I counted the public, other than the city council, media, and city management, there's 6 of us there. Is there a reason? Are they appealing something, or are they working, or what are they doing?
We were advised of a situation that's maybe a safe workplace concern, and we basically take proactive actions for that. It hasn't materialized, and so they've been put back on the street to follow up with their duties.
You mean you're at city chambers tonight? Is that what you were getting at? Yeah. Okay, no, I'm clear. I'm just wondering if we got that many people, and I'm sure there's lots of issues out in the city that they could be looking after, that's all. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Second time, third and final. To the adoption of minutes, we have the regular meeting of council October 30th, 2017. Resolution 2017-237, moved by Councillor Claude, seconded by Councillor Foley. Be resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held in Council Chambers, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba on Monday, October 30th, 2017 be adopted as circulated. Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have an organizational meeting, November 1, 2017 minutes. Resolution 2017-238, moved by Councillor Foley, seconded by Councillor Beyer. Be resolved that the minutes of organizational meeting of council held in Council Chambers, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba on Wednesday, November 1st, 2017 be adopted as circulated. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Yep. Deputy Mayor Smook, if you could just speak up a little bit when you're casting your voice. Thank you. Committee reports. We have the Development Review Committee report. I'll go to the chairperson, Councillor Beyer, to go through the report.
Thank you very much. First of all, most of this report covers a period when Councillor Ron Matichuk was chairing. I've only just recently taken over with the last change. So on this report, it shows both Councillor Matichuk and myself as chair, and as also members Councillor Judy Claude and of course Mayor Dennis Fensky. For administration, we have City Manager Gary Sepatelli, Director of Public Safety and Fire Chief John Mascarene, Deputy Chief Mike Borgon, Chief Building Inspector Jeff Wedge, Building Inspector Danny Haywood, Senior Clerk for Planning, Development and Safety Stacy Rockwell. And in terms of citizen and organizational reps, we have Dwayne Porty, Stella Locker, Thompson Housing Agency, Bama Varma, Thompson Chamber of Commerce, Duncan Regier, School District of Mystery Lake, Janet Grady, and Keith Dirksen. The role of the Development Review Committee is to make recommendations to Council on all land development issues, which include proposed development plans or zoning bylaw amendments, subdivision applications, variation applications, conditional use applications, proposals for development that deviate from existing development controls. Also to review and report to council on all matters respecting the sale and development of municipal land, including issues related to zoning, and to consider and report on all matters related to building inspection services. Under the heading of 2017 personnel, the committee welcomed Danny Haywood, the city's new building inspector, and Keisha Davis, the city's economic development officer. Now, my page doesn't want to scroll. Oh, there we go. Under 2017 initiatives, revisited the Thompson zoning bylaw and implemented tools to attract investment to the city, specifically the financial assistance bylaw, and also participated with Thompson 2020. Some of the major projects for the past year in progress is the Lions Manor 55 senior housing project, the wastewater treatment plant, cold storage facility for Northern Airports, and Sears. Sorry, we do have a little electronic issue here. Or is that the end of my report?
No.
Thank you. Okay, so this one's working. Thank you very much, Duncan Wong, Councillor Wong. So the proposed projects for 2018, Subway Restaurant will be moving to the Interior Inn. A demolition at 128 Hemlock, that's where, right across from the Mr. Lake Hotel. Mr. Lake Convenience Store and Gas Bar and McDonald's Restaurant has a major project coming up. The total value of construction and permit fees is yet to be determined, as the permits haven't been applied for yet. 2017 building inspections report to November 14th. There's been 26 commercial and 36 residential permits, totaling 62. Total construction value is $17,781,230, and the total permit value is $154,699. Capital projects update. So for 2017, we're probably aware of most of the capital projects. They include the Selkirk Avenue Phase 2 road construction, which went from Public Lane to Mr. Lake Road, the integrated bike lanes along Selkirk Avenue, the pedestrian sidewalk renewal along Selkirk Avenue, the multi-use path system expansion Phase 1 along Thompson Drive South and Princeton Drive, the library and city hall air conditioning unit installation and repair, the infrastructure building HRV system and the shower room, continuation of water main renewal project, and the multi-use path at the Bailey Bridge from Elizabeth Drive to Commercial Place. And that concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions, or administration, anything to add? Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll receive that for information. Thank you. Next, we're moving on to correspondence. We have a letter from Ryan Klaus, Director of Manitoba Sustainable Development, in regards to the Waste Reduction and Recycling Support Fund project. It's to Mr. Sepatelli, Waste Reduction and Recycling Support Fund project, WRARS 2017-007. I am pleased to confirm the grant funding for up to $30,000 for the Waste Reduction and Recycling Support, the RARS Fund. This funding will support the City of Thompson's one-stop drop recycling facility. This funding is subject to your organization entering into a grant funding agreement. Staff will contact you shortly about the grant funding agreement process. Upon execution of the funding agreement, an initial grant payment will be advanced to your organization under separate cover. The remainder of the grant will be released in stages upon receipt and approval of project reports. If you have any questions on the RARS Fund or your project, please contact Karen Warren, Senior Policy Analyst, at 204-330-8072. Thank you for your efforts to improve and promote waste management practices in Manitoba. Yours sincerely, Ryan Klaus, Director. Go to administration. Anything to add?
Yeah, just indicate for council's information. So this is the second grant that we've got for the one-stop drop facility. Unfortunately, something that we submitted to the province at the end of January. We're just being informed at this point. Unfortunately, our window to undertake this project this year is severely hampered. We'll likely still try to order some of the materials with the intent to construct this one-stop drop facility in the spring, early summer next year at the waste disposal ground.
Thank you.
And to refer this letter to the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee.
Thank Thank you. Councillor Valentino?
I just want to say that this is actually a good news story. We read it and say 30,000, maybe it's not very much, but this is a really good thing. I'm glad that this was read tonight. This has been a long process, and thanks to administration, having this one-stop drop recycling facility is a good thing. And I think we need to promote good things a little bit more often around here. So I think that I'm happy to see this, and I'm happy to see that this is going to be a part of it. Unfortunately, like Mr. Sepatelli said, it's been a long process. So hopefully we can get this up and running for next year.
Thank you. Councillor Byer?
Yes, it is a good thing. It will improve the level of service to people in Thompson, and I know council's aware of the one-stop drop, but I was wondering if our city manager, for the sake of our visiting public and anybody who perhaps watches or reports, so if Gary, you would please explain. Sorry.
Absolutely. So right now is we offer these three services, and really it's the oil collection, which is currently at the waste disposal ground and fairly frequent throughout the year. We have a household hazardous waste day, which is for 4 hours, usually the third week of September. And we do the electronic waste recycling, which usually runs from May long weekend to end of October. So those three components really aren't all located in the same location. They're at various time frames throughout the year. So having a one-stop drop with these three streams of recyclables all in one location will have access to the general public on a weekly basis.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Smook?
Yeah, I just wanted to let the people know that we have made note to the ministers that the timing of grants and the length of time that it takes to get them done, leaving us very short windows, has been brought to more than one minister's attention.
Thank you. Next up, we have a letter from Cameron Friesen, Minister of Finance, in response to our letter regarding 2018 provincial budget consultations. Mr. Sepatelli? Okay. This is Your Worship. Thank you for your recent letter regarding the consultations that are underway in Budget 2018. While I'm only able to hold public consultation meetings in a few communities each year, MLAs will also be hosting budget consultations in their communities. Kelly Bindle, MLA for Thompson, hosted a budget consultation on October 7th, 2017 from 1 till 4 p.m. at the Mamaweetuck Friendship Center. I hope you are able to attend and participate. Reports from these MLA consultations will be included in our budget considerations. If you're unable to attend, please feel free to send a submission to the following address, budget 2018 at gov.mb.ca. Additionally, I would like to extend an invitation to meet with you either at the AMM AGM in Brandon or at my office at the Manitoba Legislature. You may contact Monique Rosen in my office at 204-945-0519 to schedule a meeting. As part of the pre-budget consultations, there are also many opportunities for the residents of Thompson to have their say. Last week, I hosted a telephone town hall with over 4,400 Manitobans from across the province participated in the conversation on priorities of balancing the budget, sustaining health care services, and developing policies for controlling marijuana use. The online survey for Budget 2018 consultations, www.manitobansmakingchoices.ca, provides Manitobans with the opportunity to share their views on these three topics. Thank you for your interest in our budget consultations. Our government is listening to the priorities of Manitobans as we move forward with preparing the budget 2018. Yours sincerely, Cameron Friesen, Minister of Finance. Go to administration for any support.
Is that Minister Friesen is one of the ministers that we put forth to hopefully secure a meeting with him at the upcoming Association of Manitoba Municipalities conference, November 27th to 29th.
Thank you. Council, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll go to the next letter. Is a letter from Jeff Wharton, Minister of Municipal Relations, and Chris Kurtz. Oh, sorry, I missed one. A letter from Heather Stephenson, Minister of Justice, in response to our concerns of residential rental properties in Thompson. Again, this is addressed to Your Worship. I understand through recent contacts you've made with the Office of the Minister of Families that you've asked about the involvement of the provincial departments in responding to concerns you have regarding the conditions of several residential rental properties located in the City of Thompson. I can confirm that officials from within my department, specifically the Residential Tenancies Branch, RTB, have been involved in responding to tenant requests for repairs. This has included issuing repair orders to the landlord and taking actions to address deficiencies in the instances where the landlord failed to comply with specific repair orders issued. Given the increasing number and seriousness of complaints, the RTB has been in regular communication for more than a year with your fire department and building officials, as well as the environmental health branch in health regarding these properties. It is my understanding that the city's fire department issued compliance orders to the landlord as well as to address fire and building code deficiencies, which will include fines this past winter. Over the summer, the RTB was continued to work with your officials and environmental health branch to conduct inspections towards satisfying the deficiencies identified in your orders and their respective orders, as well as to respond to new fire safety concerns. In addition to the inspections, this collective work has resulted in the installation of new fire extinguishers, repairs to doors and windows, and additional orders issued by the RTB and Health. I understand recently the Officer of the Fire Commissioners has been in contact with the Fire Department to clarify roles and responsibilities under Fires Prevention and Emergency Response Act relating to the enforcement of Manitoba Fire Code. I anticipate they will be a valuable resource for your officials. In addition to the Office of the Fire Commissioners and the Environmental Health Branch, my department officials from Residential Tenancies Branch are committed to continuing to work with your officials. Sincerely, Heather Stephenson, Minister of Justice. Go to administration.
Just to indicate, I mean, it obviously is that we've had some properties that have experiencing certain issues, whether they're from a fire code issue, building code issue, or a public health issue. So I think it's really encouraging that obviously the letter from Minister Stephenson on this regard is that really that as the municipality where these properties are located is that that ongoing help and support from the public health branch and the Office of the Fire Commissioner in order to sort of come up with a plan and to try to rectify these properties, as opposed to sort of taking the really the end of life issue and saying we can't do nothing, let's demolish the building. So really we have to try to mitigate the concerns as much as possible. We're dealing with people that are housed in these facilities and really try to come up with a solution that takes in consideration the residents' needs, the municipality's needs, but also the province. So I think that, I mean, obviously through Director of Fire and Public Safety, John Masgreen, might be able to provide some more specific information, but it's encouraging that really in dealing with some of these issues is that the province and the city work hand in hand in trying to rectify these things as much as possible.
Thank you. Chief Masgreen, anything to add?
All the agencies that were on worked well together, and the individual that we're working with is kind of come online with us now, and there's some headway some good headway that's being made, but I think without that partnership it would have just been helter-skelter. So do it all together as a team, we work together as a team, and there's a lot of mutual respect there, so we've got our individual working with us now rather than together.
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments? Councillor Byer?
Yeah, Fire Chief Masgreen has actually addressed my concern. I'm always worried in situations like this that the province will download some of their responsibilities to the municipalities, but according to what Fire Chief Masgreen said, this is clearly not the case, and I'm really glad to hear that that relationship is there. Thank you.
Mr. Septelli?
Yeah, so I think part of that issue is that the constant discussions that we have with the province, and it's not us versus them or them versus us. It really is that both the provincial and municipal jurisdictions have to work together to come up with a solution that would mitigate the issue. You know, so that as opposed to saying, sorry, that's your responsibility. So I think that the discussions that we've had with the Office of the Fire Commissioner and Public Health is they realize that. So I think that through Chief Masgreen's department is understanding that, and when issues do arise, I mean, obviously that we get together as a group and discuss them, and what are the solutions to address the issues. And really is, I think from here is also to refer to the Public Safety Committee, this letter.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? So direction is to receive for information and send a copy to Public Safety Committee. Next, we have a letter from Jeff Wharton, Minister of Municipal Relations, and Chris Gertson, President of the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, in regards to the Municipal Asset Management Program. This is attention mayors and reeves. Under the terms of the federal gas tax funding agreement, Manitoba municipalities must work towards the development and or implementation of asset management plans by March 31st, 2018. We are pleased at this time to be able to provide further clarification on the requirements for municipalities regarding asset management under the agreement. We can advise that municipalities will not be required to have a full asset management plan in place by March 31, 2018. Instead, working in partnership with the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, AMM, and Infrastructure Canada, Manitoba has taken an approach where municipalities will need to show measurable progress towards implementing asset management and report to the province on the progress they have made on an annual basis. Municipalities will be asked to submit a municipal asset management status report to the province by December 15th of each year, starting in 2017. The province is working to ensure the reporting process will be simple and easy for municipalities to complete. Further information will be provided to the municipality shortly. It is recognized that most Manitoba municipalities are in the early stages of developing asset management plans. Therefore, for those municipalities at the starting point, reporting requirements for 2017 will focus on the current state of municipal asset management and the actions municipalities plan to take to build their capacity. Municipalities that have yet to start formal asset management planning will be asked to identify how they intend to build their capacity over the coming year. Goals for completion of specific asset management components will be identified starting in 2018. Municipalities that are more advanced in their asset management planning will be required to identify their goals in the 2017 Asset Management Status Report. The province has also worked with AMM in the development of a new municipal asset management program to support the successful implementation of asset management. The program will provide information and consulting support to assist municipalities in getting started. Asset management is an important tool to help elected officials make decisions on infrastructure investment. Asset management plans outline how a municipality will manage municipal infrastructure in order to provide services to residents and others users in a way that meets their expectations and it's financially sustainable into the future. The Municipal Asset Management Program will include development of a guidebook, asset management reference materials, regional educational workshops, and readiness assessment workshops to better prepare municipal officials to begin implementing asset management. These supports will be offered at no or minimal cost to municipalities. The AMM, with the support of the province, will begin to roll out this program over the coming months. The province and the AMM will continue to work together to address the infrastructure needs of municipalities as we build strong, vibrant, and prosperous communities across Manitoba. Sincerely, Honourable Jeff Wharton, Minister, Department of Municipal Relations, and Chris Gertson, President of Association of Manitoba Municipalities. Mr. Sepatelli.
At the last Federation of Canadian Municipalities conference, they had rolled out an asset management program of which the city is looking into. We are also having, as part of the TEDWIG, Thompson Economic Diversification Working Group process, an asset management framework was developed for the city of Thompson. So that's been used as sort of a bit of a guideline. Where we're at right now is working with AMM through the city's caucus and AMM's development of that the municipal asset management program. We currently have a tender out for a consultant to undertake sort of an asset management program for the city. So hopefully that in the next month or so that something can be taken back to council for consideration. But what I read into this letter really is that as part of the gas tax through the federal government and the provincial government, really that future grants likely will be tied to municipalities having asset management plans, which really takes a look at all their different asset classes and really sort of what that plan is to regenerate or rebuild or rehabilitate those asset classes over their life cycle of that asset class, and as well as sort of determine what that level of service is for each one of those asset classes. So we're early in that process, but definitely we have started the process, and hopefully that it leads us into sort of compliance with both the province and the federal government.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Councillor Byer.
Given the amount of work to be done on this, are we going to be able to meet such a tight deadline of December 15th, 2017?
So I think, obviously that there's a recognition as to sort of most municipalities are just getting into the game. So it's really just sort of where are you now, which basically establishes that baseline so that as you go forth, obviously you're improving that baseline in regards to develop that overall asset management plan for the municipality.
Other questions? Mr. Sepatelli.
Just going to indicate is that we should refer this letter also to the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, direction is to receive for information and send it to Public Works Committee. Next up, we have a letter from Doug Lofstad, President and Vice Chancellor of University College of the North, in regards to supporting and partnering with Thompson 2020. To whom it may concern, please accept this letter as our support for moving forward in partnership with Thompson 2020. Working towards industry viability and economic development through workforce development will benefit the region as a whole. Given the historic work completed in the TEDWIC process at Thompson, recent developments within Vale's Thompson operations, the establishment of Thompson 2020 Group, and UCN's newly rejuvenated commitment to community and industry solutions in education and training, the time is right for the new relationship between the industry, government, and education. In short, University College of the North, UCN, believes that we must act collectively towards achieving the objectives within the strategy's workforce utilization priority. Specifically, this could entail retraining a portion of the affected valet and related employees from the underground jobs, example miner in training program for the Manitoba operations, as well as the opportunities for other mine sites, Hudbay, Lalor Project, Agno Eagle, Alasmos, and others. Other FIFO labor opportunities such as those recently identified in the CEDA group and others in the positions within BBE and its subcontractors at the Kias construction site. We're confident that through partnerships between Vale, Thompson 2020, and UCN, trained workforces could be provided to numerous operations at various sites throughout Canada and the upper USA. In discussing this with Mr. Tim Gibson of Thompson 2020, we realized that there are a number of real opportunities for onboarding individuals into the jobs identified by Mr. Gibson and his team. Given the transportation networks accessible from Thompson, these jobs can be accessed by individuals that continue to live and contribute to Thompson. In doing this work, our partnerships are critical. Here at UCN, we are very pleased to consider creative ways of developing these partnerships. We'd be more than happy to continue the conversation with Vale and Thompson 2020 as we collectively work towards workforce development for the good of the region. Sincerely, Doug Lofstad, President and Vice Chancellor, University College of the North. Go to admin, anything to add?
UCN is one of the stakeholders in one of the bucket works as part of the Thompson 2020, and really refer this letter to Thompson 2020 if they have not already received it.
Thank you. Councillor Ellis, please.
I'm pleased to see UCN as coming on as a partner. They've worked with Thompson 2020 and the TEDWIC process before, and in terms of finding that economic development or the business and attracting them is we need one of the things is we need a skilled workforce, and UCN can definitely be front and center when it comes to that. I also look at our TEDWIG process in terms of when we identified what we needed in terms of industrial skills, trades and training facility. That hasn't materialized as of yet. It looked like it might have in 2014, or 2015, 2016, but we need to keep pushing for that. We need those skilled workers in order to attract more businesses to our community.
Seeing none, we'll move on to the next letter is from Bernadette Pruin, Assistant Deputy Minister of Health, Seniors Active Living, in regards to the expansion of the Northern Spirit Manor in Thompson, Manitoba. This is to Dear Mayor Fensky, your letter addressed to Health and Seniors Active Living Minister Calvin Goertzen regarding proposal to expand the Northern Spirit Manor in Thompson has been referred to me for response. The Manitoba government acknowledges the City of Thompson's support and advocacy efforts on behalf of this proposal. I would encourage the City of Thompson to continue to liaison with the Northern Regional Health Authority regarding this issue, as well as any other healthcare concerns. Thank you for writing. Sincerely, Bernadette Pruin, Assistant Deputy Minister of Health, Seniors and Active Living. I'll go to administration for support. Anything to add? Council, any questions?
Comment on it.
Councillor Beyer and then Councillor Ellis.
Just a question. So we've been invited to, or encouraged rather, to continue liaison and I'm assuming lobbying. Have we started yet to collect data or ask the Northern Health Region to collect data on waiting lists and the needs so we can start building our case to make sure that those rooms come here and not somewhere else?
I could answer on behalf of meetings that have been held with our administration, myself, and Helga Bryant, the CEO for Northern Regional Health, and their administration. We have offered support in the lobby effort. This is the letter that we sent to Minister Yurtsin. They are compiling that data for the expansion of the Northern Spirit Manor, and will provide us information as we continue our lobbying efforts from that. Councillor Ellis.
Yeah, I definitely support seeing an expansion to the Northern Spirit Manor. I know in 2007 when it was first built, I think we always had difficulty in you know, is it needed, chicken before the egg kind of thing. But I think since it's been built and since it's in place, we definitely seen that Northern Spirit Manor and personal care homes in Thompson are definitely needed. I know of several individuals that had to leave the community to go elsewhere to find the same care. And this is also when you talk about our Thompson 2020 effort, we're trying to retain our residents, and you know, definitely one of the things that the reasons why some of them go is because of healthcare facilities or services not being there. So this would definitely go a long way in keeping some of our residents in their community.
Any other comments from council? If council would indulge, I would echo Councillor Ellis's comments in regards to this definitely fits and has been identified in the bucket 2 work of Thompson 2020. So there are a number of groups working in direct lobbying and direct support for the expansion of health services in Thompson and the region, which will assist in retaining retirees and others who may have health issues in our community moving forward. So this has been identified in the bucket 2 work of Thompson 2020. Northern Regional Health is working towards the expansion of the Northern Spirit Manor, and the City of Thompson will continue to lobby on their behalf to see that comes to fruition. Thank you. Now we're moving into resolutions. We have a resolution to ratify the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Thompson and the Thompson Professional Firefighters Association Local 2200, and we have a memo from the City Manager. Resolution 2017-239, moved by Councillor Collada, seconded by Councillor Beyer. Be resolved that the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Thompson and the International Association of Firefighters, IAFF, Local 2200, dated January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2021, be hereby ratified by the City of Thompson. We'll go to administration for support.
See the current collective bargaining agreement between the city and IAFF Local 2200 expired December 31st of 2016. We have reached a new 5-year agreement, retroactive as indicated in the resolution, back to January 1st of 2017. This agreement was ratified by the membership on November the 3rd, and the agreement is within the mandate that was set forth by Council.
Thank you. We'll go to the mover, Councillor Collada. Anything to add?
No, I support this, especially pleased that it's a 5-year contract.
Thank you. Council, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Oh, Colleen, Deputy Mayor Smook. Hello, Deputy Mayor Smook, still there?
Sorry, I had my phone on mute. Colleen's in favor.
Thank you. It's unanimous. Next, we have a resolution to approve the attendance at the Federal Provincial Territorial Contract Management Committee meeting. Resolution 2017-240, moved by Councillor Beyer, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be resolved, the Council approve the attendance of Mayor Fensky at the Federal Provincial Territorial Contract in Ottawa, Ontario, December 4th to the 8th, 2017. Be it further resolved, the attendance at this event be borne under the terms and conditions of Bylaw 1897-2013. We'll go to administration for support.
And for Council's information, obviously, there's a memo from the Executive Assistant which indicates that the cost is just under $2,000 for the mayor to attend this in Ottawa. And the City of Thompson will receive reimbursement from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities for the airfare, taxi fare, hotel accommodation, and meals.
Thank you. Council, Councillor Beyer is the mover. Thank you. Councillor Wong.
Your Worship, I have a question for this process. Usually when the AMM appointed the person, they will pay for all the expenses, which is stated there, they will reimburse. Why are we have to pay upfront and then reimburse? Usually AMM will arrange all that with the air ticket and the hotel accommodation, everything, except the taxi and the per diem. So that part I don't understand why we have to pay upfront and then they reimburse us. what kind of a thing that changed recently?
The provincial Justice Committee that meets on a quarterly basis in Winnipeg that deals with policing issues of the 22 municipalities that have RCMP contracts. I chair that committee, was appointed by AMM. The agreement in the formation of that committee, those are the terms and conditions that were developed for that committee and for travel by the chairperson or his or her designate. And so that was the agreement that AMM put forward and we agreed to as a council. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Carried unanimously. Next, we have resolution to approve an extension on transit grant applications, and we have a memo. Resolution 2017-241, moved by Councillor Beyer, seconded by Councillor Collada. Whereas the City of Thompson was approved for funding under the Public Transit Infrastructure Fund, PTIF, for 4 projects in March 2017 as follows. Purchase of a transit handy van, PTIF V1007. Installation of transit signage, PTIF-C-1045. Installation of 2 bus shelters, PTIF-C-1046. And the purchase of a transit bus, PTIF-V-1047. And whereas the PTIF grant terms and conditions require the projects to be completed by March 31, 2018, and whereas Canada and Manitoba through the Manitoba Strategic Infrastructure Secretariat will consider a 1-year extension to March 31st, 2019 for approved projects, now therefore be resolved the Council authorize administration to submit an application for completion extension deadline request to the Manitoba Strategic Infrastructure Secretariat for the installation of transit signs, PTIF-C-1045, installation of 2 bus shelters, PTIF-C-1046, and the purchase of a transit bus, PTIF-V-1047 projects. We'll go to administration for support.
Indicated, I mean, obviously, the City of Thompson, when these were approved, we didn't, obviously our processes, some of our processes hadn't started with the purchase of the transit bus, which currently is in discussions at budget deliberations. The signage and the shelters are in the process of drafting that scope of work or approving a proposal that's come back. The handy transit van obviously has been purchased. The delivery date was delayed, and right now it's slated to arrive in January. So that purchase will be complete prior to the March 31st of 2018 deadline. So not an issue with that one. In the interim, we have been given a loaner handy van for the operation until we receive our van. So as indicated in the memo, obviously the specific details for each one of the project has been identified. Obviously that due to the where we're at in our season, not able to sort of install the signage and or the bus shelters until the spring summer of the 2018 season, which requires that extension until March 31st of 2019, and as well as the transit bus, as that's currently in deliberations at budget, is something that will require that 1-year extension as well. So the recommendation is for council to approve this so that we can apply for those extensions for those 3 projects.
Thank you. We'll go to the mover, Councillor Beyer.
It just makes good sense. If they're willing to grant the extension, then we should ask for it.
Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Colleen in favor.
Thank you. It's unanimous. Next, we have a resolution to approve sole sourcing to the purchase of 2 bus shelters, and we have a memo. Resolution 2017-242, moved by Councillor Beyer, second by Councillor Valentino. Be resolved, the Council approves sole sourcing the purchases of 2 bus shelters to NSICOM for an amount not to exceed $28,956.25, all applicable taxes included. We'll go to administration for support.
So as previously indicated on the previous resolution, we are in the process of at various stages of some of these projects. The 2 bus shelters obviously has gone out. The city was approved for $20,000 for this project, with Canada contributing $10,000 and Manitoba and the city each contributing $5,000 each for these 2 bus shelters. The placement of the bus shelters will be installed at Ashbury Place on Princeton Drive and near 10 Yale Avenue. The supply of the bus shelters was sole sourced to NSICOM. as they are the only supplier of this project and have installed all of our existing bus shelters. The installation will be done in-house by the City of Thompson in the spring, summer of 2018. The quoted price from Ensicom, which includes taxes, is just under $29,000, as was identified in the resolution. The City of Thompson had budgeted $20,000 for this project prior to getting grant approval. So obviously with the additional $15,000 of monies that we secured, we're within our budgeted amounts.
Thank you. Go to Councillor Dwyer as the mover.
I'll be supporting this. It does fall within our budget, and it will provide added protection for the people who use our mass transit.
Council, any other questions? Councillor Valentino.
No, they're not.
I would support this resolution. The only thing I'm concerned about is the vandalism, because it costs so much money to replace all this. So, and the area is kind of, I'm not saying it's a very bad area, but it's always happened in those areas that smash all the window in the past. So those are the only concern I have. Thank you.
Any other questions? Deputy Mayor Smook?
Yeah, I would like to say I'll support these bus shelters. When you see some of those students coming to Welcoming School from Ted Yale and that, definitely bus shelters in need.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Colleen's in favor.
Carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have a resolution to approve the October check registers, and we have the registers, Resolution 2017-243, moved by Councillor Foley, second by Councillor Collada. Check register dated October 2017, general accounts payable checks totaling $11,254,018.12. Payroll dated October 13, 2017 of $281,605.43. Payroll dated October 27th, 2017 of $281,236.92 for a subtotal of $562,842.35 for a grand total of $11,816,860.47. The accounts contained in this check register have been reviewed by the members of the Finance and Administration Committee. We'll go to Min for support. Anything to add? We'll go to the mover, Councillor Foley. Anything to add? Thank you. Council, not yet. Council, any other questions or comments? Councillor Wong.
Okay, check number 25403. Three Sun Towing Incorporated, $25,987.50. Can someone explain to me what is that all about?
Are we able to answer that, or do we need to give information? Okay, we'll bring that back. Councillor Foley.
For the coming in at the waste disposal ground? So it was.
It's for a bill at the waste disposal grounds, but we'll confirm. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Colleen in favor.
Thank you. That's unanimous. Next, we have a resolution to approve the City of Thompson 2018 fee and fine schedule and a memo from the CFO. Resolution 2017-244, moved by Councillor Valentino, second by Councillor Foley. Be resolved, the Council approve the 2018 fee and fine schedule effective January 1st, 2018. We'll go to administration for support. Jen?
Formal policy that they increased by the last year's tax increase, which ticket and passes fees being another. The transit fees were also increased. So the adult fees went from $1.80 to $2, and the student senior went from $1.30 to $1.50. The taxi fees remain the same as they are set by bylaw, so they can't be changed on an annual basis. In Public Works, the winter storage and summer storage fees stayed the same, as well as the fees for the fridges at the landfill, air conditioners, mattresses, half tons, and trailers for residential. Fees that have increased by more than 2%. The Public Works containers for mechanical pickup went from $7 to $8. Also removed was a fuel surcharge for those mechanical pickups. Tires with rims have been removed, and the cost for deadwood salvage permit has been removed. There's no charge for that now. As well, the locker fees for the TRCC have been added with 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, and 12 month increments added.
Councillor Valentino?
I just want to add that not only do we follow past practice and informal policy of increasing the fees and fines based on the tax increase from the previous year, but we also take the time as council through our budget deliberations that started last month, where we go through the fee and fine schedule and bring forth any changes at that time also.
Councillor Wong?
I like to support this, but there's one item there I did mention in the budget. I cannot support this because of that that particular item. Utility fee was added for damaged meter and calibration of meter at actual cost. I still strongly believe, because the meter is owned by the city, I understand Gary's explanation. It makes sense in certain part, and freezing and all that part, but I'm saying I don't think the ratepayer purposely freeze the meter. It sometimes can be happen, whatever reason. And if they purposely damage it with a hockey stick or sledgehammer, whatever, yes, charge them. But it's due to the technicality issue about the meter, because the meter run by battery. We never stated about if the battery stop working, who pay for that expenses? And every 6 years, the meter is supposed to take it apart and clean up because of all the sediment from the water, a gunk up or whatever you call that, the sediment, help me out with the terminology. The build up, thank you. So, who pay for that expenses? It's not stated. And the last thing is, there's no rate. Actual cost. It's open a can of worms, can be from $1 to $1,000. So, I cannot support this because of that section. The rest, I agree with it.
Just indicated as part of this process, as was identified, was discussed and approved at council, part of the budget process. Council is brought forth to council for resolution, so we can get the information out 4 to 6 weeks prior to the new year. So with council's consideration of this and this resolution is approved, we will have this up on our website tomorrow, and we'll also undertake to develop a news release sort of alerting the public as to sort of what the parameters and nuances of the fees and fines for 2018 are.
Thank you. Councillor Wong? Thank you. Request for a recorded vote. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Colleen in favor.
Opposed? Voting in favor, Councillor Matichuk, Councillor Beyer, Councillor Ellis, Deputy Mayor Smook, Councillor Kalata, Councillor Foley, Councillor Valentino, and Mayor Fensky. Voting opposed, correction. Voting in favor, Councillor Matichuk, Councillor Beyer, Councillor Ellis, Deputy Mayor Smook, Councillor Foley, Councillor Valentino, and Mayor Fensky. Voting opposed, Councillor Wong, Councillor Kalata. The motion is carried. Thank you. Now we're moving into bylaws. This is the first reading of bylaw 1958-2017 zoning bylaw amendment, and we have the bylaw and the Schedule A and a memo from the City Manager. Resolution 2017-245 moved by Councillor Beyer, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that bylaw 1958-2017, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson to amend the City of Thompson zoning bylaw 1891-2012 as amended, and that the zoning map 1 zoning districts is amended by zoning block B, Plan 4620 N Division IL, Industrial Light Zone, as part of the City of Thompson boundary adjustment, be introduced and read a first time. We'll go to administration for support.
Yeah, so just I mean, obviously, as the comments that were relayed to the Thompson Planning District Board, this is the corresponding amendment to the City of Thompson zoning bylaw. The City of Thompson is governed by 2 planning documents. One is a policy document called the Development Plan, which is under the auspices of the Thompson Planning District. The second one, which is the regulatory document, is the zoning bylaw, which is under the auspices of the City of Thompson. So this is the corresponding amendment for first reading, as identified, was reviewed at the Development Review Committee at November the 2nd. and the public hearing is slated for December the 11th, as per the Planning Act.
Councillor Beyer as the mover.
I'll be supporting this. The sooner we get all of these requirements completed, the better we will be off.
Call for the question. All those in favor?
Voting in favor.
Carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have resolution, second reading of bylaw 1957-2017, organizational procedure bylaw amendment. We have the bylaw and we have a memo from the executive assistant. Read the bylaw, resolution 2017-246, moved by Councillor Foley, second by Councillor Beyer. Be resolved, the bylaw is 1957-2017 being a bylaw of the City of Thompson to amend bylaw 1931-2015 as amended, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson to govern the organization of the City of Thompson and the committees thereof, and to regulate the proceedings and conduct of council and the committees thereof, be given second reading. Go to administration for support.
So, as the memo that's in council's package really is, City of Thompson is required by the Municipal Act to review their organizational procedure bylaw once during the term of council. This council has decided to sort of review it annually. So this is, the organ procedural bylaw has gone through that process over the last few years. This process is led by the Finance and Admin Committee, with the one change to the existing bylaw is to add a clause that talks about the requirement of a council resolution for any member of council looking to put their names forward to board membership representing the City of Thompson. First reading of this bylaw was passed on October the 30th. So second reading is before council tonight, with a subsequent third reading to follow.
Thank you. I'll go to the mover, Councillor Foley.
Just that I'll be supporting this, as we discussed at the last reading. It makes sense that if you're going to be putting yourself in a position to represent the City of Thompson, either locally, provincially, or federally, that you would have the support via resolution from the rest of council.
Questions or comments? Councillor Matichuk.
I will not be supporting it, as I didn't support the first reading. And part of my reason why is, like Councillor Wong stated, it should have been a in-camera meeting held to discuss this. I don't think proper opportunity was given for councillors to be in on this. I had a look at some agendas and minutes, and I found that it was discussed in Finance and Administration, where I don't believe it belongs. It belongs in Liga, and I don't think we had the opportunity that we should have been given.
Councillor Wong.
Last time I asked a question to you, Mr. Mayor, you didn't give me an answer. Why, if the system is not broken, why fix it? You didn't give me the answer. I like it here, and now I have more question and I have comment as well. First, I think there's something wrong here with the section 26 you guys amend. If the member of council seek a position representing the city, I think that's wrong, because when we go out, when we got elected, we are not represent Thompson. We represent Northern District. That's why you look back to the letter from AMM and the joint letter from the government. Under the section president there, it say Godson. They didn't say a mayor from Steinbach. It just say a president. So we are not represent the city. So that is wrong. It's misleading in my opinion. So now, in my opinion, this is wrong. Another wrong thing is like, why are we getting a consensus or approval before the council go out? Because I can go to an AMM meeting on my own cost. I don't need the taxpayer to pay me. I even can register convention on my own to go there. If I decide I want to run, let's say it's open for election, I put my name. If I get elected, I have a right to do that. It's my constitution right. And also, another thing is, AMM have a policy. You must be officially elected, but you're not represent your city. So I think that amendment is totally wrong. And also, we are using the democracy process to get rid of the democracy. It creates a situation that I have to be part of the team to get appointed to go out of town to get elected. Otherwise, I would never able to go out. That is wrong. It's against the constitution right, in my opinion. So, and I ask for a recorded vote, please.
Councillor Collada.
Yeah, I can't think of any case where it wouldn't be a benefit to the city if a councillor was given an opportunity to sit on a board. And as when Councillor Wong was elected as a Northern rep to the AMM, when he left the city of Thompson, he wasn't even aware that he would be eligible for something like that. He became aware at the AMM convention, and if he had to come back and get approval, he wouldn't have been able to be the Northern rep until he was replaced. So.
Councillor Foley or no? Councillor Valentino.
Sure. I have a few comments I want to make. First off, this isn't just about the AMM. So this is if you want to sit on a board and represent the city of Thompson at that board. So I sit on the North Star board or the Crisis Center board as Kathy Valentino. So if you're going to represent the city of Thompson on a board, you should have the support of council to do so because you're representing the city. My second point is I'm the chair of finance, and for 3 years, and it clearly states that the finance and administration, and this is an administration duty, the organization and procedural bylaw goes under that committee. The third point I want to clarify is that the process has been followed correctly. Last year, on November the 7th of 2016, a year ago, it was brought to the Finance Committee. 8 of the 9 councillors were at the Finance meeting. We discussed it because we have to review this once a year. And then it was discussed on November 9th at the Liga meeting, which all the council is welcome to come to. And then it went to the regular meeting of council. It was never discussed in camera. You're welcome to go and look through the minutes. This year we followed the exact same process. So let's be clear. Every opportunity was given, just like previous years. October 10th, it was brought to Finance and Admin Committee, which the only councillor members there were Councillor Beyer, Councillor Smook, and myself. Then it was discussed October 25th at the Liga meeting, where it was just the representatives of the Liga committee. There was no other councillors that were in attendance. And then it got forth to the regular meeting of council on October the 31st. So we have followed every process like we had the year before. Nothing has been different. I will be supporting this as it's a clause that makes perfect sense.
Questions or comments? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Smook.
Okay, I will be supporting it. I did look at this, and we did have the proper channels are followed, but we also already had the first reading, and at any time in the last 2 weeks, there's going to be a special meeting called to discuss it, and that hasn't happened, so I will support this tonight.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing that, if council will indulge, I just want to offer some clarifications. One, councillors and the mayor are appointed or voted or elected to various boards and representation of organizations such as FCM and others. This appointment to AMM is the only one that isn't endorsed by council by resolution. Of all the appointments we make for city councilors and the mayor to sit on other boards representing the city of Thompson, this is the only one that is not done by resolution. When I was on the previous council as deputy mayor, I raised this issue at AMM to ask the staff and President Gertsen to consider an amendment to their bylaws to make it mandatory that all councils in Manitoba that for representation to AMM have the support of their council. They have considered it. They haven't actioned it to date, which is correct. AMM is the only organization that the city of Thompson has councillors or mayors sits on that doesn't require a resolution of council to support. Secondly, the phrase constitutional right, it has nothing to do with the Constitution. Absolutely zero to do with the Constitution, so please don't cloud the discussion with constitutional rights. This is a process that this committee, various committees on council, and to the point of to be a member of AMM, Association of Manitoba Municipalities, you must be an elected official. to be a member of AMM. And so when you go on these boards, FCM, AMM, other boards, first and foremost, you're representing the City of Thompson. You may be representing a region or a larger area, or nationally the province of Manitoba when you're on FCM, but initially you are a City of Thompson representative from that perspective. And so being that this is the only organization that we as council do not support any applications to run for that position by resolution, it's a correction in process that the City of Thompson is being proactive in. And just to ensure that the due process is followed for every appointment made by a councillor or a mayor to a committee, that you're representing the City of Thompson and the Council of Thompson, that you should have the support of Thompson for that. Councillor Claudia.
Yes, our AMM representative represents the Flin Flon, the Paw, Snow Lake, Leaf Rapids, Lynn Lake. So should we get a resolution from all those councils if we want to run as a northern rep for AMM?
You must be a member, an elected member of council to run for any AMM position. That approval should, and this process will allow, should come from the council that you come from, not from the other. I don't care about Flin Flon, the Paw, or anybody else in the Norman region, whether they support our delegate or not. This council is supporting that delegate by resolution. We don't require a resolution from the Paw, Flin Flon, or Snow Lake for our representative. That representative represents the City of Thompson first and foremost, and secondly, the Norman region. Councillor Beyer.
I just wanted to make one clarification. There's actually two northern reps. One is for the northwest side of the province, one is for the northeast. The current northwest person is from councillor from Flin Flon. And if I'm not mistaken, that covers Snow Lake, Flin Flon, the Paw. Us, we cover Churchill, Lynn Lake, Thompson, Gillum. So there is a divide.
Other comments? Councillor Wong.
Since you've been lobbying through the AMM about changing the bylaw, there's 137 members at AMM. Is there any others community or municipality adopt that amendment from getting what we're doing right now? Did anybody in that whole entire organization agree with that, or they're just trying to not entertain about this bylaw?
I can't speak for other municipalities whether they've had the discussion or not. We can certainly, we'll be attending AMM at the end of the month. We can certainly survey other communities. I'm not aware if they have or have not discussed this issue.
But so far I get that there's not many people interested about this because, again, if it's such a good bylaw, 137 members, which is included us, why there's none set up such a way yet? That means it's something is not that great, in my opinion.
That's correct. That's your opinion, and you don't know how many have had talks. Neither do I. Have had how many other councils have had this discussion. So, yes, there's 137 other members, but neither of us are privy to the discussions of those councils on this issue. Any other questions? Councillor Matichuk, sorry.
I would have no problem supporting this if it was, like most of it is that is stated here, is if we are representing the City of Thompson. But if we're representing a region, the only prerequisite they have is that you are an elected official. And if that were a problem, they would have changed it a long time ago.
Done that. Deputy Mayor Smook.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know last year I did talk to some of the members, and I will definitely this year. I know there are some municipalities that their people definitely have to be okayed by their municipality before they can run for anything that represents. So I will take it personally this year and get some numbers for you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? With that, and in recorded vote, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Councillor Smook, what was your vote, in favor or opposed? Deputy Mayor Smook?
I'm in favor.
Thank you. Okay, so voting in favor, Councillor Beyer, Councillor Ellis, Deputy Mayor Smook, Councillor Foley, Councillor Valentino, Mayor Fensky. Voting opposed, Councillor Matichuk, Councillor Wong, Councillor Claudia. It's carried. Next, we have the third reading of the bylaw 1957-2017 Organizational Procedure Bylaw Amendment. We have the resolution 2017-247 moved by Councillor Foley, seconded by Councillor Byer. Be it resolved that bylaw 1957-217 be given third and final reading and that do now pass. Councillor Matichuk, you had an issue. Now would be the time to raise it. Table, I need a seconder. Councillor Collada. The vote is on the motion to table. All those in favor of motioning to table, please signify. All those opposed?
Colleen opposed.
Thank you. It's defeated. So we're moving on to the resolution itself. Again, I'll read it again. Moved by Councillor Foley, second by Councillor Byer. Be resolved that bylaw 1957-2017 be given third and final reading and that it do now pass. I'll go to administration for support. Anything to add? Go to the mover, Councillor Foley. Anything to add? Thank you. Call for the question. All those in favor?
Colleen in favor.
Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. No, wasn't requested. Oh, sorry. Third reading is required. Voting in favor, Councillor Byer, Councillor Ellis, Deputy Mayor Smook, Councillor Foley, Councillor Valentino, Mayor Fensky. Voting opposed, Councillor Matichuk, Councillor Wong, Councillor Collada. It's carried. Next, we're going into the Mayor's report, and this is for activities for October 31st to November 14th. Along with council members and city manager Gary Septelli, we had a conference call with Minister Jim Carr on October 31st to discuss Omnitrack's position and Canada's position regarding Omnitrack's recent decision to lay off staff in Thompson and to reduce train availability specifically for fuel resources. Along with City Manager Gary Septelli, we met with Laurie Henderson, Sharon McKay, Charlene Lafreniere, and Cheyenne Linkleg in the organizational meeting of council. This is in regards to the Aboriginal Accord and a strategic planning session. And we also had the organizational meeting of council, which was held on November 1st. Once again, I'd like to thank Elder Jack Robinson, for the prayers that were given at that time. I had an interview with Trent Allen of the Pasquay Times on November 2nd regarding Omnitracks and the ongoing discussions or lack thereof with the federal government. Along with council members and administration, we held the employee budget consultations on November 9th. There was a morning session at the TRCC and an afternoon session at the Public Works coffee room. Attended and brought greetings at the Remembrance Day service on November 11th. Along with City Manager Gary Septelli, had a conference call with Dana Dombrowski of the Canadian Beverage Association on November 4th in regards to sugary drinks in Thompson. The bi-weekly Thompson 2020 conference calls continue. The monthly water treatment plant meetings continue. The 2018 budget meetings continue. Various committee meetings were held: Development Review, Public Works and Infrastructure, Finance and Administration, Legislative and Intergovernmental Affairs, and Public Safety. By virtue of the authority vested in me as the Mayor of Thompson, I hereby proclaim November 12th to 18th as Manitoba Addictions Awareness Week in the City of Thompson. By virtue of the authority vested in me as the Mayor of Thompson, I hereby proclaim November 14th, 2017 as World Diabetes Day in the City of Thompson. I'll now go to councillors who may have represented the city during that time frame of October 31st to November 14th. Anybody? Second. Deputy Mayor Smook.
Yes, I had, in addition to the calls or conferences we were on, I attended Birchwood Remembrance Day and Wapanuck Remembrance Day, and Wapanuck was very special. Percy Lobman, a veteran from Pickwatenay, who attended many of the Wapanuck ceremonies, has passed away in October, so it was his wife Martha and two daughters were there, and it was a great tribute to a man. And students of both schools were wonderful in their etiquette for Remembrance Day.
Thank you. Any other reports? Councillor Valentino.
I just wanted to add that we have our city tree lighting this weekend to kick off the festive season and the Christmas parade this Saturday, and these events are at the TRCC.
And once again, for the general public and those in attendance, Manitoba Games, March 4th to the 10th, looking for volunteers. Go to thompson.ca. There's a link to the Manitoba Games site. It's an electronic sign-up. There is opportunity for assistance if you're unfamiliar with or uncomfortable doing it online. The YWCA is offering services as well as members of the Manitoba Games Host Society. So March 4th to the 10th, Manitoba Games, still looking for volunteers. Please go online, thompson.ca, follow the links to the Manitoba Games site. With that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Byer, Councillor Foley, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Thank you. We stand adjourned. Have a good evening.